What's more important to you, caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, serving others, or a man being a leader instead of a woman? I just want to be clear.
Too broad. You got what's more important to me in what instant?
Are they equally important?
Are they equally important?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what we're talking about here. You're just asking
what
me
is more important?
Like
the group of things that I just mentioned, caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, serving others, or a man being a leader instead of a woman. This is not a difficult question. We got a phone call. Here we go. Greetings. You're on the line with First Amender. How you doing today?
Hey there. I'm doing fine. How about you?
What you want to talk about?
Yeah, sure. So I discovered you across a few debates that you did, and I had a question regarding, how would you influence your politics amongst, the nation, given that it's about 60% Christian? Like, how would you appeal to Christians if most of leftist politics go against Christian values?
You're saying, okay, if I had to guess, you're referring to if there's like a Christian theocracy?
No, I'm saying if there's like a Christian majority within the country, especially like a huge percent of the voting bloc, how would you appeal to that voting bloc if you need it to win elections in the country?
Well, I would suppose you would have to appeal by being a Christian.
Right, which means you would have to have policies that appeal to Christian ethics, correct?
Yeah, I mean, probably to some extent, sure.
Okay, so how would you then appeal your politics to Christians if most of them go against Christian ethics?
Oh, well, I think that we should look at accepting thy brother and being loving of thy brother. Even if you may disagree with them, I think that's a very Christian concept. I also think that it's not really super Christian to kind of force your religion down other people's throat. I'm pretty sure in the Bible it does specifically state that you typically want to pray in private and not super public about it. You kind of want to be a little more humble about these things.
Right.
I think I could appeal to those things.
So what does that have? What would that have to do with what I'm asking you, though?
Well, you asked me if there is a Christian majority country, how would you appeal to that voting bloc? And I just explained how I would appeal to that.
Right. Yeah, but they would. That's confusing to me because as a Christian, I understand that I'm not forcing my beliefs on anyone. I'm just voting for the person who will carry out my policy preferences because that's how democracies work. So I was just wondering, so Christians aren't really operating in a way where they're kind of like forcing their beliefs on anyone at gunpoint directly, at the moment. This is all about policy preferences, right? Because your vote goes in and then your policy preference hopefully comes out is what we hope our system provides.
I mean, well, based on the way the output of the system, do you believe that Donald Trump is a Christian?
Well, in a way, yeah. I guess I could.
Really?
Yeah.
Do you believe that Donald Trump espouses Christian values?
Well, he's a good family man. I mean, I know he's good with his children. His children seem to like him.
Wait a minute.
So in that
hold on. I gotta stop you right there. You think that Donald Trump is a good family man?
Well, I think his kids seem to like him.
Where's Melania?
Well, hold on. Is this about Christianity or is this about Donald Trump?
Well, I'm saying, like, does
Donald Trump? The thing is, Donald Trump is just a vehicle in which drives my policy preferences. He's not necessarily like someone I promote as a role model. He's actually not even somebody that I align with on policy in a lot of ways either. So I don't think bringing up Trump is
okay. Well,
contribute.
let me ask you this, right? I feel like humility is a Christian value. I think being truthful is a Christian value. Compassion and empathy, and sexual morality. These are all Christian values. Would you agree?
To some extent, we might not understand them in the same way, but I guess I could agree. Yeah.
Okay. I mean, would you say that Donald Trump, is he a humble person?
No.
Oh, okay, interesting.
Would you say
that is he truthful? Does he tell the truth a lot?
Well, we all lie.
No, that wasn't my question. I said, would you say that he is a truthful person?
Truthful? I mean, I know that he has told the truth and has the ability to tell the truth.
What if I told you that within his presidency, among politicians, he's one of the most prolific liars in American history, and that he had been recorded within his first presidency to have made over 30,000 lies? I got the chart right here to prove it. I posted it. Okay. I can post it as well in side chat for others to observe it.
But do you understand that hold on, because I think you're kind of jumping ahead here, whereas the other candidate was a non-starter from the get-go for most Christians because it was a...
Well, hold on. So, but I'm stuck on your initial claim. You were saying if there's a Christian majority country, how would you appeal to the voting bloc? And okay, so just to be clear, right? Donald Trump is not a very truthful individual empirically, right? I showed empirical basis that he's not truthful. So now we have to ask, do you feel that he possesses a great deal of compassion and empathy?
The reason you're asking this question is because you have a misunderstanding of Christian ethics. That's why you're thinking that it's a gotcha, that because Trump's bad, you're voting for the one who aligns less with your policy preferences. And my argument is that Trump's morality and whatever his personal relationships with God aren't important to me as my policy preferences that he would put forth are the important factor by which I voted for him. It has nothing to do with him as a person, and it's not my duty as a Christian to judge him, right? In those moral ways. I can look at it and recognize whether or not he's a sinner, or he's immoral, or maybe he crosses some kind of moral threshold that is unforgivable, maybe. But this is kind of like a fundamental misunderstanding. Now, the reason why is because you can't even get to that question of, is he immoral because he's a liar and this, that, and the other thing, because just his opponent being a woman was kind of a non-starter for most Christians to begin with. So you're not giving them a real choice here, right? Because is Christianity a matriarchy? No, it's not. It's a patriarchy. So why would we vote for a leader who doesn't represent patriarchy?
No, see, you're jumping all over in different directions, right? I'm still stuck on your first
point.
No,
I'm asking you a very...
hold on, I was very polite. I let you finish. I did let you finish.
All right.
And I want to address the first point you made. And you said, if there is a Christian majority by country, how would you appeal to that voting bloc? Yeah. I don't think you even have to appeal to the voting bloc. And the reason why is because Donald Trump got elected. Yeah, you don't have to appeal to the voting bloc at all, right? Donald Trump is not humble. He's not truthful. He has very little compassion, very little empathy. His sexual morality is out the window. He has had multiple affairs. He brags about his sexual misconduct, and he was found civilly liable for sexual assault in court. So you're going to tell me, right, that this person embodies these Christian values and that I need to abide by Christian values in a secular society like the United States? I just fundamentally disagree. Donald Trump doesn't espouse.
No, you just don't understand. You just don't understand Christianity. That's why you're trying to make this.
I mean, I read the Bible. Did you read the Bible?
I read a lot of the Bible. Yeah.
No, did you read the Bible?
I don't have it all memorized. But
you didn't read the Bible.
Yes, of course.
You read the whole Bible.
I mean, not the whole. I mean,
Okay.
I can't remember the
Yeah.
whole thing.
Well,
It took me a
last time
long
I checked,
time.
I mean, at least
But
from
here,
what I
look,
read
hold
in
on.
the.
Can I give you the fundamental thing that you're missing here as to why this point doesn't work, and that is one of the number one values of the Christian structure is that it's patriarchal, and you know that. So why would we vote for a woman to lead the country? This is what you have to deal with.
So basically, if you want to win in the United States, you basically can't be a woman, is your position.
I'm saying if you want to appeal to the Christian majority, which prefers a patriarchy, how are you? I mean, you guys ran a woman twice already, and both of them lost to Donald Trump. So if you guys want to run a woman again, go right ahead, be my guest. But so far, it hasn't worked out very well. I actually want you guys to run a woman again.
So I just don't find this to be particularly convincing, and the reason why is because I would agree with you that in Christian values that it is patriarchal. Though I think that this has more of a root in sexism than actually reading the Bible, because, I mean, Jesus himself teaches you. You have to let me finish. This only works if you allow me to make my point. From a biblical perspective, Jesus himself had emphasized caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, and serving others. Donald Trump embodies precisely none of those things. But I guess if you want to die on the hill that Christians are sexist and they won't vote in a woman because vagina, I don't know.
Well, hold on. Was Jesus Christ sexist? You read the Bible, right?
He actually didn't espouse anything regarding men and women in leadership roles. That's in other books. That wasn't actually literally said by Jesus.
So can you answer me this time? Which one of his apostles was a woman?
He didn't have any woman apostles.
Oh, that's right. Okay, so what form did God choose when he came down as Jesus Christ? So what form did God choose when he came down to earth as Jesus Christ?
Well, I don't believe in any of this nonsense. I don't believe in any God, and I wouldn't believe in.
I mean,
but in the story, he came down as Jesus Christ, and so he would be a man.
A man?
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So Christianity is a patriarchy, and therefore, in order to appeal to the votes of Christians, you would need to appeal to those who prefer patriarchy.
Again, you're not addressing.
And that's why
all you're doing is repeating your initial claim, and I've presented to you a viable.
It's not a claim.
I've presented to you a viable defeater to your claim. That if you want to become, well, the defeater is that Donald Trump doesn't embody hardly any Christian values whatever. Yet he still got elected. If you want to have a discussion as to whether or not that people are sexist in the United States, wow, amazing. You can have secular people that are sexist as well.
What's sexism?
Sexism? Where you you are particularly discriminatory against somebody on the basis of sex.
Okay. And so was Jesus Christ discriminating against women when he chose only male apostles, and he, as God, chose to the form of a male?
I don't know.
He came to earth.
I don't know.
Well, you don't know.
I don't know. I don't know what his internal motivations would have been when he chose 12 male apostles. If he said, well, I don't like women because vagina, then that would be sexist. But if he just happened to pick apostles and they all happened to be male and it had nothing to do with whether or not that they have a vagina or not a vagina, then that would not be sexist. I don't know his internal motivations.
Whether or not you could lead, it's not about sexism. It's about nature. They're separate. Females and males have separate natures. And
so let me ask you this: would you say that whether or not that a leader is a male or a male is more important to Christians than caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, and serving others? Simple question.
If they, well, would they give Christians their preferred policy preferences? Do you see
I'm
what
saying,
I'm getting at? Even
I
if
am
the
saying
individual
you're not answering the question at all, nor me clarifying with with what you just said is even remotely relevant to what I said. So you appear to be very concerned about the fact that the Christian majority prefers a patriarchy. Donald Trump doesn't embody hardly any Christian values whatsoever. Okay. And so then I bring into the question, what is more important to a Christian? Is it caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, and serving others on one side, or man being leader the other? What is more important to a Christian?
Do you see how you're leaving the way you're forming this question is dishonest, because you're leaving out like context, right? Because you're saying what is more important, and the thing is that when you're choosing a president, the context changes drastically, right? So if you're asking me what's more important to a Christian in having a best friend, right? Is it them being a woman, or is it these values you laid out? Then I'm probably going to give you a different answer, right? But if you change the context, which you are here, and you add some context, which is what's more important to a Christian when choosing a leader, a president, is it their personal morality or their sex, and and then there's a third thing here, because it's a leader, a president, which is, are they going to carry out policy preferences that align more with Christians than against them? The Democrats had two things working against them in this past election. One of them was being that their policies didn't align with Christians, and the other one was that the person they chose as their front runner was a woman, when indeed Christians prefer patriarchal society.
All right, so I'm going to ask you one more time. What's more important to you? Caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, serving others, or a man being a leader instead of a woman? I just want to be clear.
Too broad. You got what's more important to me in what instance?
Are they equally important?
Are they equally important?
Yep.
I mean, I don't know what we're talking about here. You're just asking
what
me
is more important?
Like
the group of things that I just mentioned: caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, serving others, or a man being a leader instead of a woman. This is not a difficult question.
Be serving others, but Trump is serving others by being the president. He's serving
You actually are physically incapable of answering this question.
No,
I'm asking you one or the other. I'm asking you one or the other. If you haven't, if you say neither or both, or
I'll put it this way. I'll provide the context if you won't. If it's choosing a friend, I'm going to say that their content of their character matters more to me than their sex.
Caring for others matters more to you than sex. Fabulous. Okay, I agree with you.
Yeah, but
I think if
for the
you were
Americans
real,
more than the other candidates.
This only works if we can have an open dialogue back and forth. Don't interrupt me.
But you're making a straw man.
What? I'm not applying any straw man. You said you agreed that caring for the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, and serving others is more important than a man being a leader, right? Did you say that?
You're asserting that Trump does none of these things.
He doesn't.
That's your assertion.
At what point do you see that he is caring for the poor, loving enemies, turning the other cheek, avoiding judgment, and serving others? Where do you observe that with Donald Trump?
Because he makes the more rational deals with his enemies to avoid war than the other party would have. He makes more rational deals? Yes.
Where did you get that?
Yes, the Democrats wanted more like aggressive policies when it came to Ukraine. So
we should cede land to an authoritarian.
I'm just going to tell you what people voted for. We don't need to do the post-mortem.
Well, to be fair, right? Less people voted this election than last 4 years. It's actually a minority of people that voted in favor of Trump.
6 million people just disappeared, right?
No, I'm just saying less people voted this election than on the previous 4 years. That's empirically the fact. Okay, given the fact that it is more important that caring the poor, loving your enemies, turning the other cheek, and avoiding judgment and serving others is more important as a Christian than a man being a leader instead of a woman, I would posit to say that it is effectively irrelevant, the Christian values that you seem to espouse, because Donald Trump actually espouses none of those values, but you yourself believe, that he is espousing a Christian morals, right? He's
serving Christians. He is opposed. I explained this clearly. I don't know why you're still purposely getting this wrong and strawmanning it. I'm telling you that he is promoting the policy preferences of Christians. I don't know why
he's not.
He's going over your head.
I think in order to be an actual Christian, you need to follow Jesus Christ. And I think if you want to deport immigrants or whatever, and you want to be super boastful and proud, and you want to make thousands of documented false or misleading claims, or have rhetoric towards immigrants, disabled people, political opponents being viewed as harsh and cruel, this is not a Christian. He doesn't espouse any Christian values.
You're not a Christian. You're not a Christian, so I can't.
I don't need to be a Christian to know about Christianity.
Yes, you do. Yes, you do.
Well, I'm going to give you the last. At this point, if you believe that, I got news for you, man. If you believe that, say for example, let's try this. Do you think that a man can be a gynecologist? Is that possible?
Can a man go to school to become a gynecologist? Is that what you're asking?
Do you think they can be a gynecologist? Yeah. They don't have a vagina.
Okay.
Okay. So I as a non-Christian can understand Christianity. All right, moving on. I'm going to give you the last stop. I am going to give you the last word, and then that's going to be it. Because you sitting there telling me that I have no idea what I'm talking about, and that I'm not a non-Christian, therefore know nothing about Christianity, is an attempt at poisoning the well. So we're going to leave it at that. Go ahead. I'm going to let you have the last word. Go ahead.
Okay, so I've tried to explain to First Amender here that and I don't know why he's not getting it. He seems like a smart enough guy, but whatever. That a person's personal morality is not something that we as Christians serve as the judge of. That is up to God ultimately in the end. We don't know a person's heart. But when it comes to choosing a leader for the country, you have to choose one that more aligns themselves with your policy preferences. And being a man also helps because Christians prefer patriarchy. So with that being said, and that being the fact that me and First Amender both agree on, I do not see how the left plans on appealing to the majority of the Christian voting bloc. It seems like it's probably not going to happen, judging by this interaction today. Thank you for having me on, and have a good day.
What was your name, buddy?
It's Joe. I'm a fighting gamer. I go by Kung Fu Joe if you want to look me up on Twitch.
All right, Kung Fu Joe. It's nice talking to you. I appreciate the time.